So the big idea is basically how we helped one of our clients who does SaaS in the financial services space increase their qualified inbound pipeline by 44% in just 60 days. And then over 6 months, we helped them generate a total of $500,000 in inbound pipeline in 6 months. So the truth is it actually wasn't that difficult. It was just a few slight tweaks we made to their business that made all the difference in helping them drive more qualified pipeline. So our client came to us because they were just not getting a good return out of their Google Ads spend. They were spending upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 a month, and they just weren't seeing the return. The biggest issue is they were getting some conversions, but they were just the wrong people. Our client had a very specific audience they were going after, which was attorneys and financial advisors. And while they were getting people to convert, it wasn't this audience that they were looking for. So even though they were getting the conversions, it wasn't the right people, they weren't going to buy the product, and ultimately it was a negative ROI. This is a pretty common problem with SaaS companies. Getting conversions is not that hard. Getting the right people and the ideal customers to come in through your funnel and request demos and take demos is the hard part. This is where we come in. And this is really where we're focused, is not only getting you qualified conversions, but making sure those conversions actually show up to a demo with your sales team. And our belief is that if we can get consistently the right people showing up to sales meetings with your sales team, percentage of that is going to close, and that's going to turn into a positive ROI from your ad spend. So what we did is a few things, and these are some typical things we see with most accounts that really make the difference in helping them grow their Google Ads. So the first thing is we made sure their conversion tracking was set up correctly. So in Google, there's a right way to set up the tracking so you can actually see the keywords, the audiences you're spending on, what's actually driving the right conversions. And then the second thing is connecting it to your CRM. Most of our clients are using HubSpot to actually see of the people coming through those channels, who are they? Are they the right people? Are they the right companies? And what we do is we really want to set up that infrastructure so we can tell you of the things we're doing, not only how many conversions you're getting by keyword, by campaign, by channel, but who is converting. And that's huge, right? For a B2B SaaS business. So we want to be making optimizations based on where's the quality coming from, where are the demos coming from, not just the number of conversions. So that was the first thing we helped them set up. And when we got in the account, we saw that one, their conversion tracking was set up wrong. So they not only thought they were getting more conversions than they actually were, but they thought certain keywords were performing the best when they weren't. The data was just wrong. So the first thing we did is made sure that the conversion tracking was set up correctly and that it was synced properly with HubSpot so we could actually tell them honestly what's working and what's not. The second thing we saw is that the company was actually thought they were bidding on certain phrases and keywords, but they actually weren't. And this is a pretty common thing in Google Ads. Just because you're bidding on keywords does not mean that you show up for those actual search terms. This company was doing a keyword match type called broad match, which basically is a looser form of matching search terms to keywords. And they weren't actually showing up for a lot of the keywords that they wanted to be showing up for. And they were wasting a lot of money on search terms that just had nothing to do with their business, or were search terms that basically indicated that no one was going to request a demo if they were searching those keywords. So what we did is a few things. One is we changed the match types to be a lot tighter. We changed them to phrase match and exact match, which basically means that the words that are in the keyword have to be included in order to show up. So it improved the accuracy of the search terms they were showing up for. And the second thing we did is we kept a really close eye on the search terms they were showing up for and making sure that we're negative matching the keywords that were irrelevant. So even sometimes when you have really tight targeting, Google for some reason still has you show up for these keywords that don't make sense for your business. And you really have to be keeping an eye on that at a minimum weekly, honestly daily or every other day. You have to be going in there and monitoring and cleaning up everything that is not the right search term so that you're spending all of your money on the right search terms. So by doing that, that really helped make sure they were spending all their money on the right keywords and having a better chance of getting clicks from the right people and conversions. The last thing we did that was super important is, as I mentioned, this company had a very specific audience. There actually were multiple audiences that were looking for their type of software, but they only sold to a specific audience, which was attorneys and financial advisors. And what we found out is that the more niche specific keywords turned out to generate more qualified sales opportunities than the broader ones. So there's a misconception in B2B SaaS that just because a keyword has more search volume, it's a better keyword to be showing up on. But in reality, sometimes the more specific keywords that really describe what your product does with less search volume brings in the right people. So with this company, for example, the software keywords they were bidding on, just the regular software keywords, we're getting hundreds of searches, but again, was bringing in mostly the majority of the wrong people. But when we actually identified that there was search volume around keywords that said the software, but at the end said for attorneys, for financial advisors, So the keywords were really specific, and they got less volume, but they were really specific. And when we bid on those keywords, those actually got us more qualified demos than the broader keywords. So it was counterintuitive, but by identifying these keywords that actually said the audience in them, it turned into more qualified demo requests. So those are kind of the three main things we did that really got them higher quality and ultimately got them more sales pipeline, more revenue from this channel. So when we started working with this company, they were spending $20,000 a month on Google Ads alone. And they were generating conversions, but they didn't end up being the right people who ended up taking demos. And because these weren't people who took demos, they weren't people who became customers. So while it felt nice that they were generating a lot of conversions, truthfully, they were just throwing that money down the toilet. And they were wasting a lot of money on people who would never buy their product. We scaled back the spend for a little bit and really tried to figure out what are the right keywords that are bringing in the right people, and do we feel confident they're going to consistently do that before we, ramp it up again. So it was just a few small tweaks that we did that really made all the difference. And in just a short period of time doing these small tweaks, we increased their sales pipeline from Google Ads by 44% in just 60 days. In over 6 months, we generated $500,000 in sales pipeline through this channel. So that's why you really need to be working with a Google Ads agency to really people who understand, and to really work with some people who understand B2B SaaS and understand that the goal is really to get the right people to come in, not just as many as possible, because that tweak and that approach brings in the right people, which leads to actual revenue in the door and generating a positive ROI from the spend you're spending. And if you want help with your Google Ads and you want to see these results for your business, click the link down below.